Namaskar and welcome to this platform of learning, sharing, and growing together. This platform we have started as an impact talk. We call it impact talk because anyone who is doing anything in his or her field and creating some impact on the society comes and shares on this platform. So I welcome you all again on this very vibrant impact talk. And today we have with us Swathi, Garine from Thomson, Reuters, and Amit Kumar Ghosh from Aptiva Technologies. And incidentally, both our guests today are from Hyderabad, and I'm very happy to say that they are consultants with SAMVAW Foundation. Um, Today is a very, very auspicious day, Constitution Day, that gives us rights as well as duties as a citizen, and we respect it. There has been a lot of talks going around in and for, and sometimes not for in the Constitution these days. Um, uh, Before I get into the Constitution Day celebration, there is something that is that is applicable to all, any irrespective of the country, geographies, gender, and keeping that at the backdrop. Today we are talking about how Constitution Constitution of our country is protecting all of us through ESG. So when I say ESG, we are talking of E, environment, S, society, and G, governance. And I'm also happy to say that our esteemed guests today, they are IICA qualified, certified ESG professionals and impact leaders. They are the chosen few in the country that we have today, and we call them NAIL certified. So it is a National Association of Impact Leaders. So I am very happy that they could give time from their busy schedule to come and share their knowledge on this auspicious day of Constitution Day, 26th of November 2024. We are speaking as of now. And now I will throw open the floor with my first question, and I'll keep it very conversational. And I would throw my question, and we have two guests, so either of them may answer it. I would also like to mention that Amit sir is traveling, but he is dedicated enough and was so passionate to speak on this platform that he has joined us, but he is not able to keep his camera on, and still he would be answering the questions and sharing his knowledge with us. Thank you again, Amit sir. My first question to both my panelists is, what kind of constitutional provisions of ESG does the Constitution of India provide to us? So you may choose who would answer
Yeah,
my
maybe I,
questions.
I can I can go with this first question. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, ma'am. Yeah, and yeah, happy to be part of this constitutional conversation today. Yeah, so the topic is constitutional provisions for ESG, right? So as everyone should be knowing, there is a Right to Life Act, which is Article 21 from the Indian Constitution, and there is a protection of environment as per Article 48A and promotion of international peace and security on Article 51. So there are articles and how we are going about it, right? How to emphasize citizens on protecting our environment and have right to life for everyone. So what what my intake is, there should be very much emphasis on these articles. It has to be there in all the educational systems, right? And everyone has to talk about it. So to get to when it gets to right to life, which means protecting our nature, protecting the environment, gives us this article, whatever the article mention as right to life, right? So I believe the government should emphasize on these three articles such that everyone will have a life, right to life, a very peaceful and healthy life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Swati, with these inputs. And you have brought in precisely the names of the articles which revolves around ESG.
Mm.
The first that you mentioned is Article 21, which most of us are aware about, the right to life.
Life.
And that is most precious thing that we have, just by virtue of being a living being, be it human or animal or any creature, we have right to life. And then you spoke about Article 48A, if I'm not wrong,
Right.
that speaks about the protection of environment. So we have a very robust constitution with us, which speaks about the right to life, it speaks about the protection of environment, and it also speaks about article we also have Article 51, which speaks about promoting international peace and security, which is also one of the SDGs. Whichever three we are speaking here, the Article 21, Article 48A, and Article 51, we see that somewhere or the other they are related with one of the 17
SDG.
SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So when we talk about SDGs and when we talk about ESGs, mm, uh, what I mean, I'm a novice maybe, and how do I understand the interconnectedness between these two very buzzword? It has become a buzzword worldwide, not only in our country, but everyone is speaking about SDGs, everyone is speaking about ESGs. You, both of you, being trained in ESG, an ESG professional from such esteemed institution as IICA, could you show us the interconnectedness between the two? So maybe Amit sir would like to say something, or Swati would like to answer. Mm, That is fine with me.
Amit sir, would you like to go?
Are you able to
Now you're
unmute?
hearing me?
Yes,
Huh.
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. Please.
So if you see the part 3 of the Constitution, there you find Article 14, Article 19, and Article 21, which basically puts more emphasis on environmental protection. Secondly, when we are talking about ESG and linkage with the constitutional provisions, now ESG is basically a principle which is aligned with the 9 principles of the national voluntary guidelines of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now, if you see that 9 principles of national voluntary guidelines, that is basically from where the evolution of ESG starts. So all the 9 principles is basically serves the whole context of ESG. Fine. It is from 1 to 9. So 1 is basically related to governance, 2 is related to customers, 6 is related to environment, 7 is related to regulatory framework. This kind of classification has been made. And apart from that, there are two categories, which is known as essential indicators, leadership indicators, and what is it? Leadership and uh, managerial indicators. So these are the things. And now this principles, 9 principles, which are the bedrock of environmental ESG, they actually span from environment to governance. So it addresses the 3 sections. One is environment, second is social, and third is
Yes,
governance.
So, sir, when you say that the 9 principles of NVGs, as we call them, National Voluntary Guidelines,
Guidelines, yes.
they are said to be the mother of ESG, from where it has evolved, and the
Yes,
genesis
sir.
we
It has
all
evolved.
know.
Yeah.
Sir, when we talk of ESG in principle, we all
Yeah.
we all feel very awestruck with the kind of micro things. It has gone to the micro level of things. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the practice and the application of it, where do you see ourselves going at present? Or maybe you can throw some light in the past, how you had seen it, and maybe what is the way ahead. So my question is open to both my panelists. ESG as a principle, as a document, as a I would not call it diktat, but we have it in place. When it
Yeah.
comes to application in the past, in the present, and the way forward. So
Yeah.
that is my question that my audience would like to know.
See, ESG is basically has evolved in the last 2 years. So whatever disclosure, see the focus is on disclosure on each aspect, like environment, social, and governance. So it has started 2 years. It has started long back. Means 2019 was the first, but disclosure. When we are talking about disclosure, started 2 years back, and the focus was on voluntary disclosure.
Yes.
So there is a difference. Now, yes, she's taking another shape. It is moving on to mandatory disclosure. Why mandatory disclosures? Where the companies or whichever relevant organizations in the listed category, they have to reveal all the data related to environment, social, and governance. That is one part of it. Second is they have to come with a mandatory disclosure. Now, what do you understand by disclosure? Disclosure is not that you give data. You can give data, but data has to be specific and it has to be granular and
True.
it has to be backed by proper reasoning. You have to give. And if you don't have that relevant data,
Yeah.
then there is a process. You need to give the proper deadline by when you are going to give this data, by when you are going to come out with this data. So those are the things which are embedded in ESG. And once you come to know about this, whether that company is trying to achieve net zero by so and so, but they, even after giving the deadline, they have to give a assurance. If they don't have the data and if they have to see that the data is there, then they have to give an assurance, they have to give a timeline by when they are going to do it. So this is helping that company or whoever, whichever stakeholder is involved, people will come to know when they are going to address the sustainability issues on all these 3 dimensions: environment, social, and governance.
So I would like to come here and ask the two terms that you have used. Could you elaborate it for our audience? You said listed companies, and then you said net zero. So some
Ah,
of my audience would like to know about listed company. Of course, we understand a little more how net zero becomes more important for listed companies, and why the government, this ESG, mandatory ESG reporting has come on the listed company and not all the companies? So there are two questions clubbed into one. Yes, sir.
No. Yeah, because first I will take this question. Listed companies, why? Why listed companies? Listed companies are basically submitting their uh, report. Earlier it was a financial report. Now they have to disclose on the non-financial parameters, which is ESG virtually. Now it is important for the companies and to see, those three things, like on what they, how they're addressing the environmental issues, how they're addressing the social issues, how they're addressing the governance issues. Earlier, the focus was more on environment. Now the focus has shifted to social and governance as well. What the listed companies are doing at this present juncture, they are only furnishing data on environment. They are not addressing the other critical dimensions on
Two,
social and environment.
two
So it has
dimensions.
to start from somewhere. It has to start from somewhere. That is why they have taken listed companies. And what SEBI is doing, they are trying to implement in phases. The mandatory disclosure has to be in phases. Like in 23, 24, it will be around 150 companies. Slowly in 24, 25, it will be 250 companies. Then in 2000, what you can say, 26, 27, it will be 500. So
Okay.
it will move
So in a
100 companies
phased
finally
manner.
at 20. Huh.
In a
So
phased
these
manner.
are the things. Huh. So it is a kind of a thing where government, SEBI, will come to know about what are the environmental implications. Are the companies addressing all the issues on all these dimensions for various stakeholders? That is one part of it. Secondly, if you're not addressing it, what would be the consequences? What would be the ramifications? Ramifications is that it will have a impact on their balance sheet. It will also impact their shareholders. It will also impact their
Investors.
investors, because investors want to know, apart from profitability, whether you are addressing these issues, whether you are addressing the issues of environment, whether you're addressing the issues of the social component, whether you're addressing the issues of the governance aspect. So these are very critical issues on which investor will take an informed decision. And whatever investment the companies are going to get, that is on the basis of this ESG framework and ESG reporting.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for this detailed explanation of it.
I would like to add on top of it, like your question says, like why listed companies, right? So as like SEBI has done this, then purposefully having listed companies to follow the ESG, because everyone sees the listed companies. One thing could be the listed company, the top listed companies could be the major contributors to the environment on the carbon
Yeah.
emissions, right? And then they have the majority of people in the employment, right? So, and then it could be a top-down approach, like the MSME companies and the small companies always look around the top listed companies as their role models, right? So, if these top companies are doing a great job in terms of ESG, as Amit sir rightly mentioned, not about profit, right? So, it's a triple bottom line. Everyone has to follow the planet, people, and then the profit. So if it comes from the top listed companies, then definitely that would be impactful for the MSMEs and the small companies. So that's how I feel like that would be the factor. Yeah.
We are approaching to the end of the talk today. Two questions is two questions come to my mind. Amit sir, could you mute yourself, please? There is some background noise.
Yeah, background noise I can't avoid. Okay, I will mute that.
Yes, that would help us. And then maybe you can unmute and speak if you want to add, you share your observations on that. My question is, do we follow any particular tool for ESG reporting? We understand ESG is important. Here we are talking of ESG reporting. What reporting tools is there any mandatory tool that has to be used in ESG reporting, or we have number of tools that can be used as for ESG reporting in our country?
Yeah,
Any
I
of
can
you
take
can
it.
answer.
Yeah. So there are many frameworks when it comes to ESG reporting. When we take in on the global aspects, it's GRI, Global Reporting Integration, and then we have IR, Integration Reporting Framework, and there are many more. But when it comes to Indian aspect, the SEBI has mandated something called BRSR, Business Responsibility, Business Responsibility and Sustainable Reporting. So this BRSR is very comprehensive framework, and it lists all the aspects of environment, social governance that the listed companies has to mention, as Amit sir was rightly mentioning in the last topic, right? So this reporting is very comprehensive. Each and every aspect on the environment, social, and governance, the listed companies has to start reporting and get into that detail that it is ensuring it is following the ESG guidelines. Yeah. BRSR is the core for in the Indian aspects. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see, I mean, it's just my observation. Thank you very much for your inputs, both my panelists. One observation that is coming to mind, are we are we going the CSR way? Because way back when CSR started, and it started as it was voluntary, and then it became mandatory,
Mm.
and then it became mandatory in a phased manner. Maybe Amit sir can throw his light, and with this we can end this session. This is my last question.
See, CSR is embedded in ESG right now. CSR is a microcosm of the ESG universe. So the companies which are into ESG, they are taking care of CSR as well. Okay. But the only thing is, CSR is not a separate thing right now. Whole concept of CSR is subsumed in ESG. Fair enough. Now
The
is
S
that
aspect, may I?
S aspect, yeah, correct. I'm
Yes.
coming to that. S aspect is being addressed through CSR, and that is the one of the most critical issues which are being neglected by the top companies. They are doing yes, they are also focusing on the social aspect, but social aspect means they are only focusing on community relationships
Mm.
and maybe some other initiatives taken for environment, and see that the people are employed, people are getting some kind of benefit from the surroundings and all that. But now it has to be robust. We have to also focus on the employee well-being, and secondly, people who are in vicinity of those companies, they should not get affected. Companies have to look for the welfare, well-being of those people. So that is one of the critical issues coming up in a big way. And in the process, when the company is trying to expand, they should not harm. One is the environment, obviously environment is there. One is the social aspect as well. They have
True.
to see that their livelihood
Mm.
is sustainable. That they have to address.
Thank you
So
so much. Thank you so much. And for sharing your inputs. And it has been a great discussion. I at least learned a lot from this discussion today. And I'm happy to share that we have consultants. SAMVAW Foundation has consultants like Swathi and Amit and Rajikala and many others. So, for any kind of ESG related queries, ESG related services, consulting assignments, you may reach out to the SAMVAW Foundation. The bio would be shared in this video. And thank you so much, and wishing you all a very, very happy Constitution Day. Thank you. Stay blessed,
thanks,
all
Tan.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thanks. Namaskar.